everyone out there. Mary Kay Burberry here. I'd like to start with a psalm, Psalm 8, a couple of verses from there. When I look at the sky, which you have made, at the moon and the stars, which you set in their places, what are human beings that you think of them, mere mortals that you care for them? Our God is a God of love, and sometimes we ask ourselves that question, why should God love me? Who is God that he would do this for me? Mary asked the same question. At the Annunciation, Mary said yes. A young teenager said yes to being the mother of God, and set in motion the coming of Jesus Christ. We honor her in our prayer devotions, in the Rosary. And the Rosary is not about Mary, it's about Jesus. Mary, like any good mother, tells us all, have you met my son? Let me tell you about him. And in the Rosary, we learn about Jesus Christ. We learn about God's love. And we learn about Mary. We learn about how she lived through her joys and her sorrows, her hopes and her dreams. The mysteries of the Rosary are just that, the mystery of how God loves us so much to send us his Son. And in the joyous mysteries, we learn about Jesus' early life. In the luminous mysteries, we learn about his mission and his teaching. In the sorrowful mystery, we walk with him as he moves towards the cross. And in the glorious mysteries, we do just that. We glory in the fact that salvation has come to all of us and God has fulfilled his promise. Sometimes when you look at the Rosary, it may be very daunting. I had one third grader to say, oh my gosh, there's so many prayers. Do you know there's 150 prayers in there that you have to pray to do a Rosary? And his brother said, well, you better get at it then. The sooner you start, the sooner you finish. Well, don't start with the whole Rosary. How about doing a mystery a day? Like today, start out with the Annunciation. Meditate on that. The angel Gabriel comes to a young teenager and says, God has placed you in his favor. Will you be the mother of his son? And Mary said yes. She's an example to all of us to say yes to whatever God places in our path. And during this pandemic period, I've learned how to pray the Rosary every single day. I look forward to it now because it gives me that little time to be with God and to pray for him and to meditate on many things in life, not just on the mysteries of the Rosary, but other things that may be going on. It gives me peace and comfort, and I look forward to it at the end of the day. There's many things that are named after Mary, and many of our flowers are named after her because the early church wanted to keep her and Jesus in their minds throughout the day. One of the legends of Mary is about the time when they were in Jerusalem and Herod sent out a decree to his soldiers to murder all of the young babies that were in Jerusalem. Mary and Joseph were warned by an angel of God to get up and get out of there, and that's what they did. But they did take the gifts of the wise men with them because they knew when they started their life in Egypt that they would need a foundation. So they headed out into the desert, which could be very dangerous. And as they were traveling, 3 robbers came up to them and demanded their gold. They had to hand over what would have been a good start in Egypt. As the robbers gleefully ran back to their campsite, they opened up the sack of gold and found it was full of little gold flowers. And when Mary looked under her cloak, there was the sack of gold back where it should be. Today we call those Mary's gold or marigolds. So think about praying the Rosary. Start out small, and before too long you'll be going through the whole thing. Almost everybody has a Rosary. This is a lovely one. It's usually in a drawer or at the back of a box somewhere. Bring it out, use it. There's many apps that you can download that you can plug into your car and listen to as you drive along. I do that many times. You know how I love to be in my car. But it's a prayer that brings us closer to Jesus, brings us closer to understanding who he is and God's message to us of love. Be safe Be well, pray often.